just to pick up where we left off from the end of the last video, I was talking about this rod here, which will throw the deadbolt from the inside, lock your door when you're on the inside. I did run into a small issue when replacing these, because this is the new plate. This is the plate I'm replacing it with. This post was a little bit long, so what I ended up doing was taking a Dremel with a grinding attachment. It was pretty simple. Of course, my camera won't focus on this, but here we go. And grinding it down about 1/16 of an inch. No big deal at all, really. It was a little long and it wouldn't sit flush on the door. And obviously you want it to be straight up against the door, not sticking out. You'll end up bending your door plates, your back plates. So it was easy to do. You could do it with sandpaper too if you wanted to. It would take a long time, but you could do it if you don't have a Dremel or a little grinding wheel or something like that. So pretty simple modification, and it only took, a little bit of time to install this. So once you get it lined back up again, you will kind of line it up with the deadbolt here. There you go. And you can see that it'll throw the lock there now. It also pulls the catch in, the latch in too. So it works like it should. And if you're going to reinstall this, you would just line it up. I like to put the doorknob back in first to make sure that I'm not attaching stuff crookedly. I want to make sure that the knob goes in the right way. So there's there we go. I had it up a little high, so it helps to get everything lined up the right way. If you kind of put the doorknob in first, you'll want to reattach the doorknob on the other side as well. So you would get that little set screw, it's called, and you're going to attach it right in that little hole there on the side of the knob. Really easy to do. It's just one screw holding those together. And then once it was installed, I just took my drill with a really small drill bit and just pre-drilled some pilot holes in these spots. And all I have to do now is just find some little brass screws to go back in there, just little wood screws, the short, like 1/2-inch ones. You don't need anything crazy. You can use new screws if you want. I really didn't want to. And we carry the old screws if anybody needs some more. And as far as putting your cylinder lock back in, if you had to remove that to get it rekeyed, or if you had to get a new one, you would just come in here once the plate is back on the door, line that back up. You'd take your cylinder lock and just very carefully screw it back in until it was flush with the back plate here. And then you would come in over to the side with a flathead screwdriver and just retighten these screws in to keep that in place. These two are the set screws for this cylinder lock right here. You don't want to over tighten them. You just need to tighten them enough to hold this in place. You don't need to crank down on them really hard. That can damage it. And you're pretty much set after that. Again, this is just for this one style of mortise lock, but if you're looking to change out plates, it's fairly simple to do. The hardest part is just matching up the dimensions so you don't have to go modifying your entire door for it. And it's more cost effective that way too. If all you want to do is just change the look, it's kind of a great way to go. And as far as the marks, the outline from the old plate, I'm just going to go over that with some stain and a little bit of wood polish just to cover it up. The old marks don't really bother me that much. It is an old door after all, so kind of part of the character. So I hope that helps. If anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. We'll try to do some more tutorials on different old house things. We're kind of just learning as we go too, so we hope it was helpful to you guys.